Okay, I want to piggyback everyone, and welcome back. By the way, I want to talk about what Scorpio energy. This like part two. Um, and remember I talked about in it. And those of you who haven't watched it, I say go back to the first part of the video or watch it. You cause this pretty much it's like entails to it. So okay, so with the Scorpio energy, now I talked about how they operate, how it is. Now, don't get me wrong, Scorpio does have a hard time of forgiving it, as stated. When Sagittarius come after Scorpio, because I remember I talked about the Phoenix and the Eagle, that's another part of the Scorpion. They rising from the ashes and they flying away. It's like an eagle. They starting to see going towards Sagittarius, which is forgiveness and seeing a higher perspective here. Because Sagittarius come after Scorpio. Sagittarius working for Scorpio energy. After transformation, transmuting. After the death, rebirth, and regeneration happening, it is transmuting, seeing things from a higher perspective. Spiritual growth and expansion to happen. That's where forgiveness come in at. But as I stated, Scorpio doesn't forget with Scorpio energy it doesn't forgives or it teaches people about they may not forgive right off until after what happens. Not only that, but also on the other hand, with Scorpio energy, cause I talked about how it deals with the shadow and how people project on Scorpios continue to project on the people as well in terms of their fears and things of that nature. But people tend to project on the Scorpio, talk about how intense they are and things of that nature. Venus to Scorpio, you know, they'll talk about how intense they are, things of that nature, and how they are. When really it's something that don't, and it's like people tend to give them a bad rep. But really, it's like really some of these things are within these people there, and they don't even realize it. It's within their subconscious, even within their shadow, and they don't even realize it, or they know it's there and they fail to own that. They fail to own it. They fail to face it. They fail to acknowledge it. They fail to own it. They fail to embrace that and see with Scorpio energy, people who have a lot of Scorpio in their chart and depend on the placements, especially if they're healers, they tend to that's the job here. Even people who have Scorpio in their chart or people who have a lot of Scorpio, or especially if they're healers, to help people face the taboo side of things, acknowledge those what they consider taboo was suppressed, was considered as abomination, what is deemed as dark, and bring it up, transmute it to light, acknowledge it, own that, embrace it. The feminine energy, the soul, the shadow, healing with that. And why? So therefore, they can learn to transmute those energies. That's what Sagittarius will teach you. Learn to transmute those energies, work with those energies. Capricorn initiation, that's what comes into play. Yet learn to transmute those energies and harness it. Especially people who are Scorpio, you have a lot of Scorpio in their chart and they're healers. Because people are afraid of that shadow word. Scorpio dealing with the shadow, people are afraid of the shadow word. And want to acknowledge what is taboo. That's why a lot of the times those people, they may tend to, especially their healers, they may have people like waiting in the garage for them, waiting in their garages, or waiting to try to kill them or assassinate them in some type of way, because they pretty much they digging up that person's soul, or they helping that person at a soul level with shadow work, especially people don't want to acknowledge these things, or what's considered taboo, what is hidden, or they want to keep hidden. Scorpio represents the skeletons in the closet. These people don't want to acknowledge that. And you may have these people maybe trying to assassinate these people some type of way, maybe waiting in their garages, their cars, and things of that nature. A lot of people who have a lot of Scorpio in their chart, especially their healers, may experience that. And that's the reason why. Because what that person is projecting out is what they fail to want to own within, acknowledge and want to own within. And when they fail to want to do that, it becomes a fear, meaning it's something that they need to acknowledge. And that's why karmically, that's why things are being mirrored back to them. When they project it out, that's why it's being mirrored back to them, or people doing it to them maybe. It's being mirrored back to them. So therefore they can face that fear and they can acknowledge that, embrace it, and own it. And work with those energies and transmute those energies. A lot of these religions tend to want people to suppress that, which making these people feel powerless. People have to learn to use these energies to harness it to their good, not only maybe to benefit others, but to benefit themselves as well, for them to prosper off of. Or they have to, or even for them to harness it for them to prosper off of, and be equipped for any situations to come. They'll know how to execute, what they need to do to execute, and how to execute. Especially if they have a plan, or if they come in immediate situations, whereas they have to execute. Because Scorpio even represents deep down the sexual energy. How you gonna use the sexual energy is the question. Some of you, especially if you have Taurus in your chart, which I will get to Taurus later. If you have Taurus in your chart, or Libra, especially if you have your Mars or a South Node there, of Venus, your head game. Some of you probably got some good ass head game. Well, I said some of you probably got good ass head game, whether you're a male or female. You probably got good ass head game. Probably got a good ass mouthpiece, because Venus rule both Taurus and Libra. That represents pleasure. People who have those placements in their chart is some sort. They have some good head game. And they can use that as a tool to get what they want and seduce people. I'm just using that as an example. But they're probably afraid to do it. They're projecting out for other people that's probably doing it, but they're probably afraid to do it, and they don't realize that it's within their psyche, it's within their subconscious, and it's within them to do that. And they don't want to own that. Or they may have a clue that's there, but they don't want to acknowledge it, own it. That's why they keep encountering. That's why they keep what they fear, and that's why I keep getting mirror back to them, and they project it out. That's why I keep getting mirror back to them, so they can face that. That's something they probably want to do themselves, but they don't want to try it yet, or they're afraid. They acting so afraid to try it because they worry about what society say, and what they consider as abomination. Taboo. But really, they may not know that that's one of their skills. That's one of their power. I mean, that's like part of their power. That's like a skill. or it's probably like a power that they possess, within, part of the power that they possess within, and they have to learn to harness that, transmute it, work with it. Is what it is here. But that's why you have people want to come for Scorpios. People have a lot of Scorpio in the chart, especially if they're healers. Because when you encounter Scorpio, people, a lot of Scorpio, their chart is for transformational purposes. Pluto is the outer planet. Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, those are outer planets. Those are beings external. Those are the outer planets that were discovered later in life. Later on in astrology. Those are beings that are external to us. Majority of the times, whenever you encounter a Scorpio, Aquarius, or a Pisces, or someone with that Plutonian, Neptunian, or Uranian energy in the chart, it's for transformational purposes, because those are beings external to us. They are coming to teach us the experiences to help us overcome whatever and discover whatever about ourselves, and to help us grow and expand, and learn, grow, and expand, and evolve. And they help us explore things by ourselves. And it was Scorpio in particular, the reason why people want to try to assassinate them, or whatever the case is, especially if it's in the 7th house of open enemies, even though the 8th house is a house of hidden enemies, just like the 12th house. And the 5th house is open enemies, because it's like a target with Leo. Those people, they help bringing up from what's within. And these people who are wanting to assassinate them or anything of that nature, they want to keep those skeletons in the closet, or they don't want to do the shadow work. They're afraid of transformation. They don't want some of them may not even want others around them to evolve. They don't want evolution to happen. They want things to stay the same. Because Scorpio is going to show where the power was laying dormant at, and who was walking on it while it was laying dormant. So therefore, those shadows play out. Therefore, healing can happen. Because see, the shadows playing out. So therefore, healing can happen. Transformation can happen. And people don't want transformation to happen. The reason why they want to tend to assassinate people within this energy, or sometimes people may face that, is because they're afraid of transformation, as stated. And they don't want others around them to evolve. They don't want evolution to happen. They want to maintain power over a situation, even personal power, or continue to wield personal power off of people, or wield power from people. Because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs. They're a willful sign. Those fixed signs are willful signs. They wield power in some way. They feed off of personal power in a lower vibration. And when Scorpio comes in, they help bring that transformation. And people try to, is whatever way, and people try to come in and murder them, it's because they want to maintain some type of power and control of a situation. When they need to learn to release control, power control. Or people need to learn, in this case, not to get up power over to others. Is what it is here. That's why you have these people wanting to assassinate especially people who are healers, like they have a lot of Scorpio in their chart and things of that nature, or Plutonian energy, because they're afraid of transformation. Even represents control issues. The fixed signs even represents control issues. That's a lower in a lower vibration. Control issues of what? Want to maintain power control of a situation and not want to release so change can happen. They want change but not want to release so therefore so change can happen. And that's what Scorpio is here to help teach you to do, especially with Pluto. Even help uncover whatever so transformation can happen, and acknowledge and own and embrace whatever there is so transformation can happen. Pluto is like, I'm gonna transform you right now. And Scorpio like, no, fuck no, I'm gonna fight this transformation. Ain't nothing gonna happen no matter what. So Pluto like, okay, you wanna play that game? Okay, I got something for you. Cause you're gonna transform, it's forced. Just like when I talked about the men, and I talked about how they happiness and fulfillment coming up missing, especially with the masculine. I mean that masculine energy, because Pluto is part of the feminine energy. You know, it's a dualistic. You know, Scorpio's a dualistic sign. With Mars and Pluto, duality. That balance coming after Libra. That balance. The masculine and feminine energy. And I talked about with the men how the happiness and fulfillment coming up missing, and how they've been fighting it for quite some time. Now Pluto coming in along with Saturn is making them change that. Jupiter is helping them acknowledge that. So transformation can happen. The men that been suppressing that feminine energy, whatever it means to them, and a part of them, and whatever it means to them, it's surfacing now. What they got to do now, because they're giving their power away when they're not they're not acknowledging it, but they're gonna have to acknowledge it's gonna happen. It's forced transformation. Whatever that feminine energy consists of within them, they're gonna have to not only heal it. In order for them to take their power back, they're gonna have to acknowledge it. Because Scorpio is about self-empowerment and personal power and self-empowerment and even will and power, but also self-empowerment and personal empowerment and self-empowerment. They're gonna have to acknowledge it. They're gonna have to own it, and they're gonna have to embrace it. It's what's gonna happen. What's gonna have to happen here, including with the women too. But in the case, definitely with the men, wherever it consists of, and whatever they consider as taboo and abomination that they've been fighting with and fighting against. So they can become powerful, and they can take back their personal power. And these people that they align with, because with the Saturn and Aquarius energy, these people who they sat up there and align with, because you got Uranus, Taurus about owning something, But it's like, or they got this Saturn in Aquarius is gonna be like no longer identifying with something, and that's not a part of you. Like the Hierophant and Tarot deck, that's not a part of who you are, or no longer part of who you are. This is who you are. It's like that. And Saturn in Aquarius is making people, those identities that what they identify with is falling away. It's falling away. What they identify with is falling away. Everything else with it is falling away, and they may be having people trying to battle with them over that in whatever way. Why? Because it's falling away. They're going through that forced transformation. And whatever knowledge they gain, that's why Jupiter going back into Aquarius, whatever knowledge they gain, they getting it now. Whatever knowledge they gain, a lot of downloads even coming to them. So therefore they can take, with Jupiter going to the Pisces, they can take it forward with them. Now it's about manifesting, but it's about, and I remember I talked about Venus and Capricorn about changing goals and things of that nature when they go retrograde. That's because they gain a sense of who they are now. They know they gain a sense of who they are now, and parts of them and a part of them had died. It what all came with it. They no longer identify with that, and they're gonna have some people trying to fight against that and try to keep them down. Just like parents gonna be fighting against these children as well, or whatever the case is, or a sibling fighting against the other sibling, or whatever turning against the other sibling, whatever the case is. It's because the transformation has happened, and they don't want that person to own that within them, whatever that is, and embrace whatever that is that they just discovered about themselves. And they want to maintain power control. And those people who are wanting to maintain power control at this time and try to having those control issues, those people at this time, those people are gonna receive their karma. And they're gonna go through a lesson about letting go. So much things gonna happen in their life, they're gonna go through a lesson about letting go. Even allowing some freedom and independence. They're gonna go through a lesson in life about letting go. But this is what I wanted to come on and talk about. But thanks for watching. Till next time, peace and blessings. This is my video on Scorpio. With a little snippet. I'll upload more information down the line. But yes. But peace and blessings.